Hi, today I'll be doing a review of the Nike Freerun Plus 3. The Nike Free is a minimalist running shoe designed as a transition shoe for people who are looking to have a more minimalist style of running. Minimalist running refers predominantly to the drop between the heel and forefoot, aiming to reduce basically the distance between your heel and the ground, which encourages a forefoot or midfoot strike, which is supposedly a more healthy version of running, as espoused in books such as Born to Run by Christopher McDougall, and also another excellent book called Eat and Run by Scott Jurek. So, the Nike Freerun Plus 3 is a pretty excellent shoe. I've been testing it out for a while now, probably I'd say at least a month or two. One of the things to note about the Nike Freerun Plus 3 is that it's incredibly flexible if you're coming from a traditional running shoe. For example, the whole of the sole will actually bend and flex in whatever way your foot wants to. So when your foot is in the shoe, if your foot needs to bend upwards at the toes, it can. It gives you a lot of mobility. The heel to forefoot drop, which is the distance between your forefoot and your heel in the Nike Freerun Plus 3, is a 7mm, which isn't as dramatic as the barefoot movement, which I think has its benefits, but it works very well as a transition shoe if you're looking or interested in running eventually in barefoot, but you don't want to go to a zero drop shoe. This sort of shoe will provide a less demanding running experience. It's got a Nike 5.0 heel. One thing to note about them is that they're extremely comfortable. The inner did have a little bit of a problem, however. On a longer run, when it's really hot, you can end up developing blisters. It was on the left shoe. It's hard to show without... it's hard to show, but there's a point inside about there where the stitching, the tongue connects to the shoe, and that ended up giving me a bit of a blister on my foot, but I've since remedied that and it's gone away, but that is something to think about. It's got a really nice design. The upper's really light, sole's pretty thin. It gives you really good ground feel. Lacing system's good, very light. All in all, I think it's an excellent shoe. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's looking to make a transition. If you're thinking of buying the Nike Free to run both road and trails, I couldn't strongly recommend it as a trail shoe, which is not a significant downside because it's not designed to be a trail shoe. I've tested it on some of my local trails and the grip is not very great, and after a run you tend to get any small rocks or small pieces of gravel. This is an example here. After I went on a trail run, it's mostly just an annoyance to pick it out, but if you're looking at doing any sort of serious trail running, I would recommend picking up a second pair of shoes specifically for your trail running. One thing to note with the Nike Freerun is you need to be fairly careful when you start running in them. They've got a lot less cushioning than what you're used to, and if you transition from a heel strike to a forefoot or midfoot strike, you can put a lot of strain on your calves and your Achilles. For the first couple of weeks I ran in them, my calves ended up getting really tight until I changed my running style to put less pressure on the calves, so I would say that they're an excellent shoe, but you need to be careful with ramping up your distance and take things slowly, or else there is the possibility of injury. But that being said, if you make sure your form is good, then you shouldn't have too many problems, but you do need to be careful.